Thank you, Linda, Starr. Thank you to all of you questers. I am honored to be with you. I collect Marilyn Monroe wine, but I can order that on the internet anytime I want. My twin sister Jennie and I were born in Edgewater Hospital, August 7th, 1949. Our mother told the story about how she heard one nurse say to another, "Gee, that's an awfully small head for such a large body." In those days, they didn't know that she was going to have twins. They actually put her to sleep because she was in a lot of pain with her back. And she says when she woke up, she had two little dolls in her arms. A stage door father was born. Our dad gave us dancing lessons, tap, ballet, acrobatic, every musical instrument you could think of, including 10 years of accordion lessons, which I refer to as child abuse. But it all paid off. In 1966, my father wrote a letter to William Wrigley Jr. And he said, "I have two very talented twins. They sing, they dance, they play accordions." And William Wrigley Jr. had the Arthur Meyerhoff Advertising Company in Chicago. And they auditioned us. And we got the job. Now, over the years, there have been several sets of Doublemint Twins, but we did sing the song that many of you remember. Actually, having been Doublemint Twins, we were chosen to perform in Vietnam with USO in 1968. And that has led to some very, very interesting and wonderful things in my life. I ended up in Hollywood, and there I was on the board of directors of the Producers Guild of America. Actually, a lot of other things happened in between then. I lived in Hong Kong, and I learned Chinese, and I produced some television. But when I was living there, my twin sister Jennie called and said, "I've just bought a home in the village of Oak Creek." And she wanted me to help move her furniture from LA to here. We were coming on the canyon, and when we hit the Oak Creek Bridge, which is a roundabout in front of Tlaquepaque, I looked up at a very famous home that was in Lucille Ball's family, and it's called the House of Seven Arches. And I said to my sister, "I want to meet the people who own that house someday." Well, 2 years later, we were shooting some pilots at the Dome House in the village of Oak Creek. And the owner, Ken Johnson, wouldn't take money for us to do our filming. So I said, "Hey, how about if I videotape people coming through your home?" At the time, he was charging $5 for people to look at his house. So we were videotaping people walking through the house, and I said to a man, "What do you think of the house?" He said, "Well, it's interesting because it doesn't have any trusses, and I own a truss company, and I also own the House of the Seven Arches." So I said, "Wow, I've always wanted to meet the people who own it." He said, "Here's my card. I'm leaving this afternoon to return to Scottsdale. That's where I live. But call me sometime, and I'll show you the house." And he described how to get there. So he left my twin sister, Jennie, God bless her. She said, "Change your clothes. We're getting in the car. We're following that man home." He's leaving for Scottsdale. When are you going to see that house? So we knocked on the door. He shows us around. We're looking at the most magnificent view in the universe, and you are all invited to come to my home. I mean it. I mean it. It's a house in the Seven Arches. I'll give you one card. Actually, I think you're going to take a tour of it because one of the crudsters asked if they could have a tour of it. I said yes. So, anyway, I'm talking to this wonderful man on the balcony. I said, so you're going back to Scottsdale this afternoon? He said, well, unless you'll have dinner with me tonight. I had to think about that a long time. Well, we ended up dating. We ended up getting married. And before we were married, I actually co-wrote a book that was on the New York Times bestsellers list. It was called You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again. If you sell 60,000 copies of a book, you get on the New York Times bestseller list. Well, our book sold 450,000 copies. So, we get married, he puts my name on the mortgage, and I pay the mortgage off. Because I had a lot of money. And he ended up passing away in the year 2000. And my twin sister moved in with me. So it was a pretty easy transition. My sister died in 2008 of cancer. God bless her. She would be so thrilled to be here with you today. Since then, I have become a member of the Sedona Marine Corps League. I've had the honor of being awarded the President's Award for Excellence in Arts and Entertainment from the Vietnam Veterans of America. They are 75,000 strong. And this award was previously given to Raquel Welch, Vicki Carr, Twyla Tharp, Nancy Sinatra, Johnny Rivers, and Bob Hope. And the biggest fun thing that happened is I am now the honorary commander of the 944th Aeromedical Staging Squadron at Luke Air Force Base. And this is a group of reserve medical people, doctors, nurses, EMT people, and they shepherd wounded soldiers home from overseas. So I have been very blessed. I belong to the Sedona women, and I welcome all of you to my home, and I thank you so very much for having this honor to be here. I am humbled.
Fun with double good Doublemint gum.